All right, y'all, part 3 on Neil Degrass Tyson, Asteroid 2029, Dark Speak brought to light. I was talking about the Chapter 11 bankruptcy that's coming to the nation of America and the people there if they haven't prepared for the millennial kingdom and such in different ways. But Chapter 11 bankruptcy is generally where it's pretty hard on you for maybe 3 years to 7 years or such, okay? So this will be playing a role into Americans and their cash and all those things, okay? This is where we could see them saying techno as the beast and them going back to a cash-based society and chasing gold and the things of the ground or whatever, and they don't realize the time and season that it is, that we're going into new heaven and earth. And as their old heaven and earth goes away, the Terminator machines and shit have to come onto them, and they can't go into the Jetson era, okay?
This process basically ablates
the process, okay?
The entire west coast of the United States. We would know this in advance, thanks to Isaac Newton and his 2 equations he developed as a 26-year-old virgin. And so
that's tying into the 2026 and the 144,000, which is the 2-4 and those types of things, okay? And the 144,000, the 12 tribes and such can be connecting to the divide of the nation and whatever else will be going on.
Wait, so actually nobody has to die. It'll still do the $10 trillion in damage, but nobody, we know this in advance.
Okay. So nobody has to die. He's talking about, but it's still going to do the trillion damage, the 10 trill lion, all right? And that's taking out the old beast and setting up the new beast. So what he's talking about is nobody has to do the big bombs, okay? All these things, it will self-feed itself, all right? And that way the people, the Antichrist spirit against man comes up and takes care of itself, and that way everybody can be asleep. Because while America is going to get like that the Twin 9/11 event or whatever, the big China bomb that can come is when China dumps all their stocks back into the Dow or dumps all their money or whatever. So, or when the BRICS takes over in January or whatever. So all these things are playing a role, all right? And as you just do these things naturally, it's going to take out the church and the beast man and whatever else, because they'll slowly wake up, but they won't have they don't care if people wake up per se, but they cannot have people waking up all at once, because if they wake up all at once, then it's all messed up, all right? But also, if stuff gets messed up, they can always do the bomb, all right? So it doesn't matter which way it goes. The bomb is actually the easier way, and it's I'd much rather be bombed than run out of money and be into a situation where you got to live in those zombie apocalypse style movies where it's either your life or their life and you got to eat them and they eat you and all kinds of shit going on, okay? These are the days that all things that are written are fulfilled, okay? 2024 to 2027. All right, that's America's open and close. It's the old day and the new day. All right, and when it gets dark, that's that ice age when things kind of freeze over, things stop growing in a matter of speaking. That's that 3 years, 4 years, 7 years maybe, until y'all get it right and we bring in that new age, okay? But we've already lined things up till 2032, 2033, 34, 35, 36, because Trump's ages and Biden's ages and these 88s or whatever, they're all taking us into these different time spans, all right? And we also got the 2045 to 2045, or 1945 to 2045, the 100-year plan, man merges with machines. We need to understand that we're machines. We're liquid metal machines, and we're living through the days of how man was created. And as we are living through those days, we're going to regain our position, and we're going to redo man for the next age after this age, because it seems that things run along with Pluto. And Biden said the other day, major changes in man's history every 6 to 8 generations. That equals out to be every 400, 600 years. Basically, every 500 years, we can look back in history and see major changes in this earth, okay? And in society, and we're going into the place where man regains his place into heaven and the prince of the power of the air. The Satan who's been grounded, the ones who worship the Baal and the law and all this other shit, they're going to go away. That's the church. Jesus is coming to judge the church.
But I thought about it. There are two people.
The church, they are the men of war. And we will soon see how the church rises up to kill people. Okay? Soon enough.
Who will die. Two people. And you know who they are. Okay? There's the idiot surfer who wants to get that last wave. You know.
Idiot, the moron.
The real root cause of snoring is not what you think. Did you know that snoring has nothing to do
more
with
than likely
nasal
what's going to
problems,
happen,
tongue position, pillow placement, or even being...
More than likely what's going to happen, what I've seen, is Trump seems to be coding that he goes to prison more at the end of 2024. So then it sets off the election cycle, and then you're left with Ron DeSantis, and then it sets up where the women can leave and however else, right? Or the person that Trump's with, if he goes to prison, can continue to run, and we can see a divide happening in multiple ways. But it seems that Trump has said that if he does go to prison, or however it's looking, which I would think he would go for a couple years, the Tiger King seems to be a clue for us on these things. But we could see Trump going down to prison or whatever, and then the country dividing over the next 4 years after, because they're setting up the divide, all right? But as the Civil War happens, as the terrorists, the patriots act against the terror and all this, homeland terrorists against the external terrorists, all this is on our homeland or whatever, all these things playing out, America, it just goes through the shambles, okay? So we can see all these things setting up, and then Trump comes back as a savior, takes his nations at that point, and then you got to go into the Babylon for refuge, because Trump's going to rule the little horn and the woman, according to Micah, and then he sets up Babylon, which is the window into heaven for the refuge, and that's the new heaven and earth setting up in ways, and we're going to get the old earth back, and the stores are entertainment in a way, but it's going to be a lot different than what it is now. We're going to get whole new stuff, all right?
Bad man. I'm going to, the idiot surfer. We got one dead surfer. And
the day-ad surfer, the
one
moron.
dead weatherman.
The we at her man. The we at her man. And that's the we at her in different ways. The we at her is the people going to war for the self-draft, for the Biden nom mix, and that Mick is in office for that new Mike on that 1119, the 9/11. So either way, and then the we at her man is also the people that's in the tribulation or the digital currency and those types of things, and or they said they've taken the mark or whatever, and they just kill themselves, or all kinds of different things. All right, so basically, like 75% of the people will be dead.
Trying to get the camera closer to the hurricane.
But it's all going to be your own choice in the hurricane.
Come, you look at the waves.
Hurricane. Cain is the Jesus character who was given the mark. Okay? And he was shunned. And then we see the people given the mark, they're not giving the light at the end. All right.
On the zero, and the cameraman keeps backing up.
So it's a flip in reality. Revelation is like a flip on Genesis in one way, shape, or form. So without getting into a rabbit trail,
He pulls him in. One dead weatherman, 2 dead people. Right? That's what you get.
Coulson in.
So a little later, we would get better data. Once you discover an asteroid and you know its trajectory, you could look in historical photos for where.
All right. So he's kind of discussing what I do, where you take the number calculations or whatever, and you can go back in history, but he doesn't. You take the names and numbers or whatever, but they all connect in a different pattern. But we're all living the same lives in a different way. And maybe different years or whatever, and the names will connect to when you live those things in your life and whatever else, okay?
Would have
We basically live on a cycle, we all live on the same algorithm, but it's all broken up in different spectrums, and we're all getting on that one algorithm to see where everything in our society is built on, okay? So the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, they're the ones pretty much propagating all intelligence of man. So they go on and either way, they're going to be using what they have written as far as, because what they put out and then man takes it, reads it, and then writes the same thing. That's where the people are watching the same 6 movies or whatever over and over again. It's just one time they do it with a man, next time they do it with a woman, next time's a black man, next time's a black woman, and whatever other shit they do.
in the past, if you got your trajectory right, then that becomes useful data to you. It's called a pre-discovery photo. It's common in my field. Once you have a general direction that something's going in, you just turn the clock back. Once we dug up pre-discovery photos and got some better data later, we were able to tune what was going to happen. So here's what will happen.
So, since my dreams and visions in 2020, okay, I've worked day and night, all right, every day since then to figure out what I was given, the so-called source code number, whatever, all right? And I've been working to figure out these trajectory levels, okay? So that's where we're at, this 24, 25, 26, 27, and I'm continuing to break these things down for y'all and to show y'all these calculations, because it says that we can calculate the time and season, okay? And now that we've seen the second coming of the Lord, the Adon going to the cross, we can now go and try and find that day and hour that the Lord is coming, who is a man, okay? Now, we may not know the day and hour that mothership or whatever, that the mothership shows up, but we can get close to it. We can get to that time and season to where we can know that mothership may be showing up in that summer or that fall or winter or spring, okay? But we'll end it here because of time, all right?